Welcome back to Opinion Journal Live. My next guest is American Enterprise Institute fellow Ed Pinto, who joins me to talk about another silver bullet that is supposed to, quote-unquote, solve the nation's housing crisis. Ed joins me by Skype. Ed, welcome.
Thank you, Mary.
Ed, I've heard a lot of bad ideas of how to solve this nation's ongoing housing crisis, but this has to qualify as one of the worst. For viewers out there who aren't following it, who is Mortgage Resolution Partners and what are they proposing to do?
Mortgage Resolution Partners is a private company that's come up with an idea to use eminent domain through municipalities in California and elsewhere, but starting in California, to condemn through eminent domain mortgages that are underwater, and then turn around, condemn them at a lower price than the face value, turn around, reduce the mortgage on the individual that owns the house and is living in it, and give them the lower mortgage, and then repackage these mortgages to new investors.
And of course, they would get a fee for doing this. So Ed, this sounds to me like public taking for private gain, the ultimate in cronyism. Am I wrong?
Well, I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of fees built into this. When I reviewed it, it looks like the municipality makes some money on it, the group makes money on it, yet somehow the borrower gets this miraculously low mortgage, 85% of the current market value. I don't think the numbers work.
Ed, beyond the numbers, though, Ed, beyond the numbers,
they're cherry picking by their own design. They're cherry picking the best mortgages. They have to be current mortgages. Now, agreed, these are underwater mortgages, but they've been paying for 5 or 6 years, and those mortgages have a probability that they're going to pay off at face value that's probably 50% for these really bad mortgages. The losses on these mortgages might all then be 50%. You're looking at a 25% loss. This structure is based on having a 40% loss. The difference, I don't think, can be made up. So you either have to get the mortgages at below market value, which they say they're not going to do, or it doesn't work financially, in which case it just doesn't work. So I don't see how this works from either a fairness or a financial perspective, fairness to the investor or a financial perspective. It is just another, as you say, bad idea and somewhat of a long list of ideas, and will probably result in putting another nail in the coffin of private investors ever coming back in the next 10 or 12 years into the private mortgage-backed securities market, because they'll have no idea what their risks are. Particularly, in order to have any private mortgage-backed security market work, you have to have people taking the first risk. This basically says you don't know where you are, because all of a sudden the government can cherry pick and pull you out of where you thought you were and put all the losses on you.
Well, Ed, let's be really clear about this. So what Mortgage Resolution Partners is proposing to do is to use government power to set a price, to take mortgages out of private investors' hands, and to use the power of eminent domain to use this. So the loser here is the private investor, and also the sanctity of private contracts. Ed, you mentioned what this would do to the private mortgage market, but what we haven't talked about is what will fix the housing crisis. If this doesn't fix it, what do we need to let happen?
I've been saying for some time we need 3 things. One is we need to let the market find a bottom where in the places where that has happened the most, like Arizona, parts of California, believe it or not, and Virginia and some other states, that the markets are stronger. Where it hasn't happened, Florida and Maryland and some other places, the markets are still weak, and the market hasn't bottomed.